So good evening, everyone. This is lecture number 6 in motion in one dimension, and we are dealing with motion with uniform acceleration. Do we remember what we had done in the previous class, everyone? What we had done in the previous class, we had seen the equations for motion for uniform or constant acceleration. Yes or no? Anyone remembers it? Please raise your hands and let me know that we remember the equations that we had discussed in the previous class, 4 or 5 equations, and I told you only 3 are required. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Number 4 is my favorite equation, v plus u by t, v plus u by 2 multiplied by t, and you can use it wherever you feel like. The only thing you have to remember is that whenever you are using these equations, some equation may get you answer quickly. In some cases, some other equation can give you answer quickly in other cases. Do we remember this? If you can remember all the 4 or 5 equations that I had sent you, it would be easier to solve any question at any given point in time. We remember this, yes or no? And remember, I told you that we have dealt with questions which were of uniform acceleration. We have also dealt with questions which were of non-uniform acceleration, and I told you that whether the question is of uniform acceleration or non-uniform acceleration, it has to be done in a similar way. Just to check whether we remember this or not, this is one question straight away that I'm going to put for you. You have to find out a body is moving according to equation at plus bt square minus ct cube. And you have to find out the velocity when the acceleration of the body. So can you solve this question for me? I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. Everyone understands the question? Yes or no? Everyone understands how it's to be done? Yes or no? No, yes. Okay, then I'll wait for you to solve me and tell me the answer. Chandrika, Kaushik, Shrihit, Anjali, I wait for your answers. Once you are done, let me know. Remember, whatever the question is like, doesn't matter. We have to do it on similar way, in similar way. Do we have the answer for this one, bacha? Option C is what Kaushik is telling me. Well done. What about the others? Shrihit. Shrihit, you have missed, I think, something in the answer. Please check. Option C, that is correct. Everyone got the answer. Yes or no? Please raise your hands. So, How we got to do this? It's very simple. Displacement or x or position is given as a function of time. Remember, you don't have to write the value of x because in examination hall, what matters is that you solve the question quickly, not step by step. So once you differentiate it single time, first time, oops, what has happened? My screen has gone bonkers. Don't worry, I'll just get it back. Sometimes things happen and you don't have control over it. Anyways, I'll just share the screen. Oh, where is my screen? Hmm? What is wrong here? I need to restart it probably. So restart it. Just give me time. Something has gone bad in this. It's not reading my screen. Okay, let me take it this way. Something has changed in this. I hope you can see it now. Yes, you can see it now, right? Okay, everyone can see the screen now? Okay, so once you differentiate it once, you will get the velocity dx by dt. That will be equal to a plus 2bt minus 3ct square. That gives you a velocity. Then you differentiate it once more, velocity, derivative of velocity, and you will get your answer. And I think the answer that you are going to get is option C, 2b minus 6ct. Now, may I ask you, what type of acceleration is this? Is this a uniform acceleration or is this non-uniform acceleration? Yes, I wait for your answers. Is this uniform acceleration or is this non-uniform acceleration? Tell me, bacha. Is this uniform acceleration or is this non-uniform acceleration? The answer that we have got, is this uniform acceleration or is this non-uniform? Tell me. I hope everyone can see me, everyone can hear me. Yes or no? Is everything all right? Anjali, Chandrika, Kaushik said, you can hear me, right? Okay. Kaushik says it is non-uniform acceleration. What about Chandrika, Anjali, Shrihit? Uniform or non-uniform? Non-uniform. Why it is non-uniform? Because this acceleration is given as a function of time. Okay. I hope everyone understands this. Yes or no? Please raise your hands and let me know. Okay, I'll give you one more question on this and then I will move ahead with the topic for today. Remember, beta, the more the questions you do, the better are your prospects because we may find the same or similar question appearing in your exam. So the more the number of questions that you do, the more is the probability of those same questions coming in your exams. And this is the next question that I'm going to give you, and I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this. A particle moves along a straight line such that its displacement at any time t is given by this. The velocity of the particle when the acceleration is 0. So this has got, I think, two questions woven into one. You have to find the velocity when the acceleration of the particle is 0. I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this. So, my dear friends, do we have answer for this one? Option A or C? You are not sure, sir. Well, remember, we do get multiple options correct questions in JEE? Yes. This is not a multiple option correct beta. So you should get the correct answer. Remember, answers don't matter for me. I have always told you that. What matters is whether you have done the question, attempted the question in the correct way, whether your method has been correct or not. So tell me how you have done this. Everyone has tried this, or shall I do it? Everyone has got some answer? Everyone has tried it? Yes or no? There will not be two answers, beta. There will be only one answer. Or maybe two. You don't know. You never know. There could be two answers also, depending on what type of motion is this. We will see those two answers wala question very soon in today's class, where at one time the particle where at one position, not at one time, the particle will have two velocities. Once while it was going up and the second one it was coming down. But again, at one time it only has one velocity. At one position in space, it might have two. Once it is going up, the second one is coming down. Anyone with an answer, or shall I do it for you, or all of you? To try more? Or shall I do it? So displacement, or S, as a function of time is given as t cube minus, oops, t cube minus 6t square plus 3t plus 4. First of all, I will find velocity by differentiating it once. So when I differentiate it once, it will be 3t square minus 12t plus 3. Yes or no? We all understand this? Raise hands will give me more confidence. Everyone understands this? Okay. Then I have to find out this velocity. I have to find out this velocity, v. But I don't know at what time. They have given the time, but given it indirectly when the acceleration is 0. So I have to find the velocity when acceleration is 0. That means I have to also find acceleration of this particle. How do I find the acceleration of this particle? I differentiate it once more. Differentiate velocity one more. I will get 60 minus 12. This is the acceleration of the particle if I have differentiated it correctly. Did you get this answer for acceleration? Yes or no? Did you get this answer for acceleration, everyone? Is this uniform or is this non-uniform acceleration? Is this a constant acceleration or it is a variable acceleration? Tell me. It is non-uniform acceleration. Acceleration keeps on changing. So now, according to the question, when the acceleration is 0, I have to find out velocity. So first I put the value of a as 0. If I put the value of a as 0, this implies 60 minus 12 will be equal to 0. From here, I can get the value of time. Time will be 2 seconds. That is what I needed to find out from the information given in the question or asked in the question. At what time the acceleration is 0? Instead of giving straight away that find the velocity at 2 seconds, they've given it indirectly. Find the velocity when acceleration is 0. So you find out acceleration, equate it to 0, find out the value of time, and time is coming as 2 seconds. At 2 seconds, the velocity, we have to find out acceleration is 0. Now what I need to do is just put the value of this time in this equation for time, in this equation for velocity, I am afraid, and you will get the value of velocity when the acceleration is 0. Can you tell me what is the answer coming now? What is the value of velocity when acceleration is 0? And the answer is what? Option G, minus 9 meter per second. That means it is now moving in the opposite direction of its actual motion. It is now moving in the opposite direction. Put the value of t as 2. So 2 square is 4. 4 into 3 is 12. 12 minus 24 is minus 12. Minus 12 plus 3 is minus 9 meter per second. And that is the answer, my dear friends, that we were looking for. Do we get this? Yes or no? No, yes. Have you all understood this? How many of you could solve this? Please tell me. No one could solve this? Kaushik was able to solve this. Shreet, Chandrika, Anjali, what about you? Anyone has any doubts? Please tell me. You all understand this? Yes or no? Well, I'll give you 1 minute to note it down. Meanwhile, we'll move on to the next heading. The next heading is the heading for today, and the heading is very simple. And again, this is a case of motion with uniform acceleration. Also, in this case, it will be motion in a straight line. And the heading that we are going to do is this one, motion under gravity. Now, whenever we are using this term motion under gravity, gravity means the gravitational force of Earth. We are living on Earth. Every small particle that is closer to Earth, Earth will exert a force on that particle. That force is known as gravity. Because of that force, all the particles are accelerated. And that acceleration is known as acceleration due to gravity. Do we understand this? Acceleration due to gravity, and it is written by the small letter g. The value of g at different places is different. We will understand that in a chapter called gravitation, but right now we will consider it to be constant, and the value will be taken as 9.8, which is not the value at all the places on Earth, and we will take it in the downward direction. Though it is not exactly downward, it is towards the center of Earth. It's not exactly downwards. It's actually even not towards the center of Earth. It is somewhere in between. We will see that direction in the chapter on gravitation. But right now, to solve questions, we will be taking G, not as even 9.8, just to make the question simpler. In some cases, we will be taking it as 10 meter per second square directed vertically downwards. So this will be a case of which type of acceleration? Motion under gravity will be a case of which type of motion? It will be case of motion with constant acceleration. Do we understand this? Yes or no? It will be a case of motion with constant acceleration. So whatever equations we have done for constant acceleration motion, the same equations will be valid in this case. The only difference is instead of acceleration in the question that we had done, the acceleration was different in different questions. It was constant for one question, but in different questions, the value of acceleration was different. Here, the value of acceleration will not be given. The body will be thrown up. We'll have to understand that this is motion under gravity, and they will give you the value of g. Sometimes they will give you as 10, sometimes depending on the problem, they might give you as 9.8 meter per second square. Now, if we talk about what equations are we going to put, and this is a situation where most of the students they get confused, sir, in what case we have to take g as positive and in what case we have to take g as negative. Well, if you ask me, we have made one sign convention, right? And what sign convention we had made? In the previous case, the motion was happening along x-axis. Whatever was along positive x, we were taking it as positive. Whatever was along negative x, we were taking it in the negative sense. Here, the motion is going to take place in the up and down plane, up and down axis. So whatever is thrown up, upward direction, whether it is displacement, whether it is velocity, whether it is acceleration, that upward acceleration, upward velocity, upward displacement will be taken as positive, and any vector which is directed downwards will be taken as negative. No matter how I throw the ball, anything which is downward will be taken as negative. On that count, G will always be negative for us. Do we understand this? Because no matter how I throw the ball, whether I throw the ball up or whether I throw the ball down, G is always downwards. And with due to our sign convention, we are not going to change our sign convention for different questions. What is normally done in books is when body is thrown up, they take upward as positive, so G becomes negative. And when the body is thrown down, they take downwards as positive, so G then becomes positive. It creates a lot of confusion. Sir, I'm confused whether to take G as positive or negative. Take out all that confusion out. Anything that is upwards is positive, anything that is downwards is negative. So for us, in whatever way we do the question, G always remains negative. Do we understand this? And I have raised hands from everyone that we understand this. That for our case, whatever happens, we are going to take G as negative in all cases. So if I now ask you to write the equations of motion for this particular case, what we will do, remember the equation of motion has not changed. The equation of motion is for constant acceleration. So if I ask you what is the first equation of motion, the answer will be V is equal to U plus AT. Remember, we are not writing the vector equations, we are using the sign convention. V is equal to U plus AT. The only difference is we have to use this equation with proper sign convention. In place of A, we will use the value of G, and G will always be taken as negative. Do we understand this? So that will be our first equation of motion. Please raise your hands. The equation has not changed. In place of A, we have G. That's it. What will be the second equation of motion? Tell me then. The first equation is V is equal to U plus AT. Nothing has changed. Instead of A, G has come. That's all. What will be the second equation of motion? Yes, that will be a revision of our equation of motion as well. Tell me. Second equation of motion. What will be the second equation of motion? You can speak up as well. Unmute yourself. Speak up. If you can't write, and speak up and tell me. Yes. What will be the second equation of motion?
Delta R equal to UT plus half AT square.
Delta R displacement will be equal to UT plus half AT square. The only thing you have to do is instead of A, just put the value of G. That's it. And G is always going to be negative. Well done, my dear friends. What is the third equation? Third. Yes, my dear friends.
V square minus U square by 2s.
Okay, I can write it like this. V square minus U square is equal to 2 times A into delta R. My A simply becomes negative G. G. Yes, we are doing a revision of all the questions, all the formulae. Formula number 4. What is formula number 4? And this formula is going to help you a lot in this case, particularly this case. Yes, my dear friends. Formula number 4, my dear friends. No one? Formula number 4. My
R
favorite.
equal to U plus V by 2 into T.
Delta R displacement will be V plus U by 2 multiplied by t. Well done. That is equation number 4. And I don't have any space left here, so I will just draw a line and then ask you to tell me the fifth one, which was displacement in the nth second. Can you just remind me of the formula? I always forget this one. Yes. Displacement in the nth second, my dear friend.
Delta Rn equal to U plus A by 2 into 2n minus 1.
U plus A by 2, 2n minus 1. That is correct. The only thing you have to understand is in place of A, you have to put the value of G, and G, as we all know, is always negative because it is always directed downwards. Yes or no? No, yes. I'll give you 1 minute. 1 minute to note this down, and then I'll give you small cases, and I would want you to remember those cases. You can remember those cases, it would become very easy for you. So I'll give you a minute. To note it down. I hope everyone is noting it down. Everyone has noted it down? And I bring you to the next screen. Okay, so here this is case number 1, the simplest of all cases. Case number 1, a body is dropped from some height. Now what do you mean by dropped? Whenever I say the term dropped, if I'm at the top of a tower, this gentleman is on the top of this tower, and from the top of the tower he is dropping something. What does this tell you? If I drop something from the top of the tower, what does this signify? What does that mean in terms of information given in the question? Yes, if a body is dropped from some height, what information does it give? About what thing does it tell you? Does it tell you anything? If I say a body is dropped, yes. No one knows? The body is dropped from some height. What information does it give us? Yes. No one knows? Is everyone there in the class? Body is dropped from some height. What information does it give us? I'm waiting. If you don't know, please raise your hands. Raise your hands. I will understand that you don't know. If you know, then give me the answer. Yes. You know it or you don't know it?
It will undergo gravitational force.
Yes, beta.
It will undergo gravitational force.
What information does it give when I say that the body is dropped? Remember, whenever the body is dropped from some height, its initial velocity u is 0. That is the information I get when someone uses the term dropped from some height. Do we understand this? Do we understand this? Yes or no, everyone? If something is dropped from some height, that means the initial velocity is 0. Can I have raised hands from everyone in the class? Now, there could be a different case where instead of we dropping it from a tower, we might drop it from a balloon which is going up. We might drop it from a balloon which is going up. We might drop it from a balloon which is going up. In that case, if I tell you that the body is dropped, what is the initial velocity? For example, if there's a balloon which is going up with some velocity and I drop a stone from that balloon, what will be the initial velocity of that stone? Yes. I hope the question is clear to everyone. Yes or no? Here, the boy was on the top of a tower and then he had dropped a stone. Then I told you, my dear friends, that the initial velocity is 0 in this case. What happens if instead of a tower, I drop it from a balloon which is moving up? What can we say about the initial velocity in that case? Yes. I'm waiting for your answers, bacha. If instead of tower, it is dropped from a balloon which is moving upwards or which is moving downwards, then what is the initial velocity? Yes. Anjali, tell me, what will be the initial velocity? Anjali, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
If I drop it from a balloon, which is either going up or coming down, what will be the initial velocity of the stone? No idea?
0, sir.
No, in that case, it will not be 0. It will be same as the velocity of the balloon. Whether it is going up, it will be initial velocity will be upwards. If it is coming down, the initial velocity will be downwards. Do we understand this? So when you are inside something, you have the velocity of that thing. So if you drop something from a train, moving train, the initial velocity of the body is same as the velocity of the train. Do we understand this? Similarly, if we drop something from a balloon, the initial velocity of that body will be same as the velocity of the balloon. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Chandrika, Kaushik, Srihit, do we understand this? Chandrika, Srihit, I am waiting. In case of this stone dropped from a tower, nothing is moving. The tower is stationary. The man who is dropping it is stationary. Therefore, the initial velocity in this particular case becomes 0. Do we understand this? Then, as I already told you, acceleration is always minus g because it is in the downward direction. So if I use equation number 1, v is equal to u plus at, this is the answer that I will get. V will be equal to minus gt. Yes or no? Its displacement is downwards, so delta r is downwards. G is also downwards. So if I write the equation for displacement, it moves from the highest point A to the lowest point B. It moves in this direction. So the displacement is negative. Do we understand this? Yes or no, my dear friends? It moves like this. Its displacement is negative. So this H would be minus. This G is also minus. These two minus will get cut. And you will have this equation. H will be equal to half gt square. Do we understand this? Because both are negative, they will just cancel each other out. Yes or no? No, yes. Raise hands will give me more confidence that everyone is there in the class. We are doing a step-by-step analysis of something thrown from a height. Then, if you use the third equation, v square is equal to u square plus 2a delta, u is 0, g is negative, h is also negative. Two negatives make a positive, so we'll get this equation for velocity ka square. V square will be equal to 2gh. Both negatives become positive. If I have to find out the displacement in the nth second, I will just put the formula. Remember, g is negative. So in place of g, I will put minus 10 or minus 9.8. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. And then you have this short forms coming for you, and these are very important short forms. If you can remember these short forms, you can solve some questions very easily. For example, this shortcut of time of flight, time it spends in air, it comes from which one? It comes from which equation? This time is equal to 2 times h by g ka under root. This comes from, the first part comes from this, h is equal to half gt square. Do we understand this? Yes or no? It comes from this. The second part comes from this, v is equal to minus gt, v is negative, minus minus gets cancelled. So you can write time as root over 2h by g, or you can write it as final velocity v divided by g. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Everyone understands this? Then looking at this formula, v is equal to root over 2gh. Can you tell me from which equation is this formula coming? The blue one. From which equation is this formula coming? As you can see, it is coming from this particular formula, v square is equal to 2gh. Do we understand this? It is coming from here. This is coming from these two equations. Do we understand this? Raise hands will give me more confidence that we are in the same universe. What about this formula, bacha? Height v square by 2g. From which formula is this coming? And you can realize it that it is coming from the same formula. Yes or no? No, yes. So these are the important things about motion under gravity. I hope you have Understood this? Yes or no? No, yes? I'll give you 1 minute to note it down. Have you noted it down?
Done, sir.
Done, sir? So can I move on further ahead in life? Yes or no? Okay. Then comes this one. We have not done graphs, I know, but what I have done here is, I hope you know simple graphs. We will be dealing with graphs after when we are done with motion under gravity. But just to give you an example of what will be the graph look like for this particular motion. The first graph is a graph between distance traveled and time taken. Do we understand this graph? Yes or no? No, yes. Raise hands will give me more confidence that we understand this. We understand this graph? It is sort of a parabolic graph because this is a motion for constant acceleration. And remember, whenever you have a graph, straight line graph, I mean motion in 1D graph for constant acceleration, displacement or distance traveled, straight line will be parabolic in nature. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Please raise your hands. Second graph is between velocity and time. You must know that the slope of velocity time graph, slope of velocity time graph, slope of velocity time graph gives us acceleration. Here the acceleration is constant and the slope will be equal to g. The slope would be negative because velocity, here it is drawn as positive. The velocity is also always negative. So this graph should have been drawn in this direction. Do we understand this? This graph should have been drawn in this direction. They have not drawn the graph of velocity. They have drawn the graph of speed. Do we understand this? Speed is increasing. Velocity is also increasing, but velocity direction is in the downward direction, which we treat as negative. In some books, it might be given as positive, depending on which side we take as positive and which side we take as negative. Do we understand this? Yes or no? And then the third one is pretty simple. The graph of acceleration versus time. Here also they have plotted it in a positive sense. Positive and negative only depends on how you are thinking it. So the acceleration is constant. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. I'll give you 1 minute to note it down. Noted it down, everyone? Can you move ahead in life? Okay. Here comes the next point, if you can remember it. Well, remember, you just have to remember 3 equations and everything comes automatically from those 3 equations. But as I told you, JEE is a speed of your, it's a test of your speed. You can remember a lot of things. You can solve some questions pretty straightforward. Now, what we can understand from this, H, the displacement that it moves, is half gt square, u is 0. So it is directly proportional to t square. Remember this. Therefore, what will be the displacement in 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds? It will be in the ratio of 1 square in first second if it moves 1 meter. In the second, in 2 seconds, it will move 2 square means 4 meter. In 3 seconds, it will move 3 square, 9 meter. In 4 seconds, it will move 4 square, 16 meters, 5 square, 6 square, 7 square, and so on. Do we understand this? So, the distance it moves is proportional to time square. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Can I have raised hand that we understand this? Similarly, if we talk about the displacement in the nth second, the formula for nth second, we put the formula for nth second, and remember the value of u is 0. The formula for displacement in the nth second looks like this. G is negative, displacement is in the downward direction, don't worry about that. 2n minus 1. In the first second, 2n minus 1, 2 into 1 minus 1. Second, 2 into 2 minus 1. Third second, 2 into 3 minus 1. Fourth second, 2 into 4 minus 1. It will be in the odd ratio. 1 is to 3 is to 5 and so on. 2 into 1 is 1. 2 into 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 into 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So you will have odd numbers here for displacement in the nth second, but distance traveled in n seconds, it will be square of the time interval. Do we understand this? Or is it getting too complicated for you to understand? This is just an implication of u being 0 and we are getting all these results. If you can remember these results, this will help you in solving some questions very fast. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Are you noting it down, my dear friends? Then we will move on to the second case. What will be the second case? In second case, what we are going to do is we are going to throw a ball upwards. Case number 2. A ball is going to be projected vertically upwards. If I project it vertically upwards, its initial velocity u will be upwards and therefore it has to be taken as positive. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do we understand this? Vertically up is taken as positive always. That's our sign convention. So my u, which is vertically upwards, would be positive. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. acceleration will be minus g because it is downwards. So now I can write the three equations. The first equation will look like this. V is equal to u minus gt. With proper sign convention, g is taken as negative. Do we understand this? Please raise your hands. H, which will be the displacement in the upward direction, H will be positive, U will be positive, but G would be negative. Therefore, the equation will look like this. Yes or no? This is equation number 2. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Please raise your hands. Equation number 3, my dear friends. Equation number 3, V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. 2a to delta r. Displacement is positive, but g is negative. So the equation will look like this. Yes or no? We understand this. Then equation number 4, which is displacement in the nth second. U is positive, g is negative. When I put the sign, I have not put the value of g. G is put as g and it is put as negative g. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. These are the equations. If a body is projected vertically upwards from ground that we are talking about. Anyone understands this? Yes or no? Are you noting it down, my dear friends? Everybody noting it down? Okay, then we can make some shortcut formulae here as well. If you noted this down, let me know so that I can bring those shortcut formulae for you. Shall we move ahead in life? Yes, sir. Here I go, sir. So, now what happens at the maximum height, at the highest point? This point, the ball is thrown. Let me call this point as point A. This is the highest point. Let me call this point as B. What happens at the highest point? What is the speciality of this highest point, B? Yes. What is the special thing that happens at the highest point? Yes, my dear friends. What happens at the highest point, my dear friends? Tell me. It does not go any further up. Why it does not go any further up? What happens at the highest point? Yes. Kaushik, tell me. What happens at the highest point? Point B. Yes, the velocity becomes zero, my dear friends. Because if the velocity does not become zero, it will go further ahead. So remember this point. For maximum height, the vertical velocity is zero because in the next chapter, the particle will have two types of, not the next chapter, next topic, motion in 2D. When I'm going to throw the ball, it will not have the velocity zero. It will have two velocities. One is the horizontal one. The other one is the vertical one. The vertical component of velocity, in this case, that is the only velocity. The vertical velocity becomes zero. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Please raise your hands. Well, then you can write the equation V is equal to U plus AT. V is 0. U is positive, G is negative, U comes on that side, negative, negative gets cancelled, and your equation for U looks like this. This is equation number 1 written for this Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do you understand this? Yes or no? Well done. Now, one surprising equation you might see. H is written as half gt square. Huh? Half gt square? How did I get H as half gt square? If I use the equation delta R is equal to ut plus half at square. Here initial velocity is not zero. Initial velocity is not zero, but in the equation that I have written, it is coming as zero. How this equation is correct? How is this equation correct? Can anyone tell me? Where does this u go? U is there. U is there. Where does this u go? Remember, there are two ways to understand this. Remember, u is positive and g is negative. U is positive. U is positive, and this g is negative. Now you also know that u is equal to gt. If I put this value of u here, it will be gt square minus half gt square. In the end, you will end up with this equation, h is equal to half gt square. Do we understand this? Do we understand this? This is one way of understanding this. The other way of understanding this is, look at this time. Look at this time. Look at this time. This is the time that this body takes to go up. This is the time it takes to go up. The same is the time it takes to come down. So from while it is coming down, at the highest point is initial velocity is 0, and you know the time it takes. So you can use the equation s is equal to ut plus half at square. Put the value of u as 0 there. Then also you will end up with the same equation. Remember, this is the time to go up. Time to go up. This is same as time to come down. Total time. When I say total time, what do I mean by total time? Once I throw it, it goes up and then it comes down. Total time will be 2 times of this. So total time t will be 2 times u by g. Do we understand this? Yes or no? These are small shortcuts that you have to remember. Time taken to go up is u by g. Time taken to come down is also u by g. Total time is 2u by g. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Then the third equation is v square is equal to u square plus 2a into delta r. If you put the value of v as 0, g is negative, u comes on this side, or g comes on, or 2gh comes on this side, negative will cancel, and u square will be equal to 2gh. From here I can find out the value of this height. Height is u square by 2g, a very important formula that you must remember. Also the same formula written in form of u is root over 2gh. Have you understood all these three yellow formulae? These three yellow formulae are written from these formulae that are on the left hand side. Do we understand this? Yes or no? So these formulas are not coming from heaven. They have come from the same equations of motion that we have understood. Yes or no? No, yes. Please note this down.
Done, sir.
Everyone has understood this? Yes or no? Can we move on to some questions? Yes or no? Remember, you don't have to remember all these shortcuts, but if you can remember these shortcuts, they will help you in solving the problem way faster than the other students, and you can have an edge over other students on the same problem. So here is the question that's coming up for you. Remember, the value of g is given as 10 meter per second square. A body is thrown up with a velocity of 15 meter per second. What is the maximum height attained by the body? Remember, you can use these equations or you can remember the shortcuts and get your answer fast. How you want to get your answers is what will determine how fast you are going to solve this question. Yes, bacha. Anyone with an answer? Yes. Anyone with an answer, beta? Four options are there. No one? No one knows how it will be solved? Option A. How did you get option A? Yes, bacha. Option A is correct. Tell me, how did you get it, Kaushik?
So u square by 2g.
Yes, beta? Sorry, I missed your thing. Can you repeat again?
H is equal to u square by 2g, sir. Formula applied.
Yes, you can straight away, instead of using all this equation, you can straight away use h is equal to u square by 2g and get your answers pretty fast. Remember, this is the case. Just now we had done it. See, just now we had done it. Just now we had done it. But you have used this formula straight away and got your answers quickly. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Raise hands will give me more confidence that we are on the same page. Everyone understands this? Okay, can I give you one more? Will you be able to do it now? Everyone understands it? You can just put the values and get the answer. Shall I move on to the next question? Question number 2. Anyone having any problem, please ask me. Any doubt, please ask. Can I move on to the second question, please? Yes or no? No, yes. Do we understand it's a straightforward formula application? Can I move on to the next question, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here comes the next question, and I'm expecting quick answers from my students. Let's hope who gets it first. A man throws a ball vertically upwards. It rises through 20 meters and returns to his hand. What was the initial velocity of the ball? And how much time it remains in air? G is taken as 10 meter per second square. I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this one. Yes, my dear friends, do we have an answer? Srihit has given me an answer. Option D, sir. Well done, sir. What about the others? Wake up, wake up. Wake up call. Kaushik has also come up with an answer. Yes, Kaushik. Kaushik has also given me an answer. Well done, beta. What about the others? What about the others? How do we solve it? Can straight away use the formula that we have seen. U initial velocity is root over 2gh. Yes or no? Do we understand this? Option D, yes, that is correct. So first you get the value of u straight away like this. Then time of flight, I have already given you total time it remains in air, time taken to go up, time taken to come down, my dear friends. Total time is 2 times u by g, and you will end up with all your answers. Straightforward application, and I think that the answer that we are going to get will be answer in the D category, in the D option, and that is the correct option. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Everyone understands this? Okay, let me look for another question. This one. Remember, the more the number of questions that you do, the better it is for you. And here comes question number 3. I hope everyone is ready for this question and everyone is excited to see this question has come in JEE Main 2 or 3 times. Here comes the question. A stone is shot straight upwards with a speed of 20 meter per second from a tower 200 meters high. The speed with which it will strike the ground is approximately how much? Remember, it is not dropped from the ground. It is not dropped from the tower. It is shot upwards from the tower. You have to tell me with what speed it strikes the ground. You will have 2 minutes to solve this question. Yes, you can take the value of G as 10 beta. Approximate answer. Yes, bacha, how can you do this? Anyone? Okay, can I help you? Shall I help you? So, how this is to be done? Let us say that this is the point A, this is ground, point B, and it is given that the height of the tower is 200 meters. So, from A to B, the height is h, and this h is given as 200 meters. Do we understand this? Yes or no? I'm not writing meters. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Now the ball is thrown up. The ball is thrown up. U with an initial velocity u. Since it is thrown up, it is taken as plus 20 meter per second. Do we understand this? G is acting downwards, and that will be taken as minus 10 meter per second square. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. Now I can make equation from point A to straight away point B. Now remember, this stone will go up certain height. The velocity will become 0, then it will come down. I can solve this question in this way also. First I find out how high it goes up, then I find out how down it goes. Doesn't matter. I can straight away, because the acceleration is constant, I can straight away make the equation from A to B. U is plus 20, G is minus 10, and from A to B, the displacement is 200 in the negative direction. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do we understand this? From A to B, raise hands will give me more confidence. From A to B, my dear friends. Okay, now I can straight away see. Now look, there are many ways to solve this question. As I told you, we have to look for the smartest way. You know U, you know G, and you know the displacement H. And you have to find out the value of V, the speed or the velocity. Speed is always positive, remember. The speed with which it hits the ground. I have to find out the value of V. I know U, I know G, I know H. Which equation should I use? Tell me fatafat. And if you understand that equation, your answer will come in a flash. Tell me, my dear friends. Which equation should I use? Chandrika, tell me.
V square equal to U square plus 2GH.
We have to use, yes, my dear friends, V square is equal to U square plus 2 times A into delta R. Just put the values, my dear friends. U is plus 20 square plus 2 times acceleration is minus 10. It is downwards. Displacement is minus 200 because it is downwards. And you will straight away get the value of V square. Can you tell me what is the value of V square you are getting, my dear friends? Twenty square is 400. 400 plus how much? How much is the answer coming? $400 plus 4,000, I think, right? Is that so? 400 plus 4,000. So V becomes plus or minus root over 4,400. Which value should I take for speed? Should I take plus value for speed or should I take minus value for speed? Tell me, bacha. That is the only question that I want you to answer. For speed, should I take the plus value or should I take the minus value? Tell me. For speed, I must take the positive value. Yes, Shri hit. And if they would have asked me velocity, I should have taken the negative value because it would be moving downwards. And for me, downwards is negative. Do we understand this, my dear friends? Yes or no? No, yes. I need a raise of hands from everyone in the class. This is how questions are solved, my dear friends. Can I expect you to solve the next one? All based on the equations that we have done. Are you confident now? Can I see the confidence in your hands? By raising your hands, you can tell me, yes, sir, we'll do it. No matter what. Questions are simple. And we have understood the concept. Yes or no? No, yes. Can I move on to the next question, please? Remember, it's only a matter of three equations, my dear friends. V is equal to U plus AT, S is equal to or delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square. V square is equal to U square plus 2 times A into delta R. Remember, A is minus G. G is always negative. Can I move on to the next question, please? Everyone is ready? Raise hands will give me more confidence. Here comes the next one in this category. A particle is thrown vertically upwards. If its velocity at half of the maximum height is 10 meter per second, what is the maximum height attained by it? G is 10. I'll wait for 2 minutes for you to solve this question. Well done, Kaushik. You have got the answer. Good. Option B is what Anjali has also got the answer. Option B. Well done. Can you tell me how you have done? Bacha.
So 2 into maximum height, sir.
2 into maximum height. What? I don't understand, Bacha.
2 into the formula of maximum height, sir. I mean 2 into U square by 2G.
How did you get that?
Since it says half of the maximum height, so we have to take h by 2 equal to.
No, that is not the way you should have done this. How did you get? Okay. Since the velocity at half the maximum height is 10, so you multiply it by 2. Okay. Let me try to solve this. If the maximum height is h, this maximum height h will be equal to U square by 2G. Yes or no? Do we understand this? Everyone? Can I have raised hand that we understand this? The maximum height h is u square by 2g. Or I can write u square as 2gh, where h is the maximum height. Yes or no? No, yes. Everyone is there with me? Now it's given that the velocity at half of the maximum height is 10. So I use the formula v square is equal to u square plus 2 times a into delta r. Now, let me put the values here, my dear friend. V, the velocity, is given as 10. So I write it as 10 square. Do we understand this? Yes or no? That will be equal to, do we understand this? Can I have some raise hands for everyone? We understand this. Okay. U square. Now u square, I have written it as 2gh. So you can straight away write it as 2 into g into h. The value of g, you must remember here g and h. We have to use the values plus 2 times how much is the value of acceleration. How much is the value of acceleration? It is minus g, yes or no? Into the displacement is h by 2. Are you getting my way that I have done this? Yes or no? Do we understand this, what I have done here? 2 and 2 will get cancelled. 2gh minus gh is simply g into h. So 100 square or 10 square is g into h. G is 10 into h. So my h becomes 10 meters. That is the answer that we were looking at. Do you understand how I have done this? Raise hands will give me more confidence. Yes, Kaushik, do we understand? And now tell me what you were doing, beta. You're doing the same thing?
No, sir. But I took instead of the maximum height formula, I took h by 2 equal to u square by 2g.
No, beta, that cannot be done. No, you understand this, na?
Yes.
Do you understand what mistake you were making, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you move on to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us move on to the next question. A simple one to give you a feeling of that you know it's a simple straight one. And I will not give you the options for this one because it is pretty straightforward. So here is the question. A stone is dropped from the top of a tower, touches the ground in 4 seconds. Question number 4. G can be taken as 10. Can you tell me what is this? Question has come in multiple exams, multiple years. So let me give you the option as well. I was not thinking of giving you the option, but now I'm giving it. Okay. What is the height of the tower? Just my dear friends. Yes, my dear friends, what is the answer? $4 meters. There is no option 4 meters, Chandrika. 80 meters Kaushik has got. Time is given. Drop from the top of a tower is given. Yes, Chandrika, can you now tell me the answer? Hints are given. Stone is dropped. Top of a tower. Time is 4 seconds. Yes, Kaushik, tell me, how did you do it? Yes, I have answers now. Rushing in. Option A, sir, Anjali. 80. That is correct, bacha. Looks good. So which, how you've done, Anjali? Tell me, fatafat. So I use the formula delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square. Do I need to use this formula? I've already done this case. Yes, Anjali, I've already done this case. Here, U is 0, displacement is minus H, G, acceleration is minus G. Straight away, I get the height of the tower as half GT square. Yes or no? This is the benefit of remembering these cases and remembering the short formulas. Do we understand this, Kaushik, Anjali? Everyone? You can remember these shortcuts, you will get the answer straight away. Now just put the value half, G is 10, T square is 4 square, 16, and straight away you end up with 80 meters. That is your answer. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. Everyone. Okay, can I give you one more question? Remember, the more the question that you solve, the better are you going to become. Everyone understands what we are doing, bacha? We are solving as many questions as possible so that every question that comes, we will feel like we have done it before. And here comes the next question on your screens now. Let us see if you can do this. A body is projected up with a speed u, and the time taken by it to reach the maximum height h is t. Pick out the correct statement. It came in an engineering entrance exam. That's come in JEE Mains also. What is the answer? I've done this question for a very particular reason, and I will discuss that reason, that thing with you, and I hope you remember that. First, tell me the answer for this one. I'll give you 1 minute to think about it. Yes, anyone with an answer? Okay, the language to this question is a bit thing. Let me just tell you something and I hope you remember it. Let us assume that me rub it. Let me try to make a straight line. Okay, I throw a ball from this point A and this is the maximum height B. Okay, I hope everyone is listening to me. Yes or no? Okay, now remember, I'm writing, let us say here, time has started, t is equal to 0, it is here. At t is equal to 1, it is at here. And this is a general example, and you can always use this example. T is equal to 2, it is here. T is equal to 3, it is here. And it has taken, let us say, 4 seconds to reach the top. Now, when once it is at t is equal to 1, it will have some velocity, let us say v1 in the upward direction. At point 2, it will have velocity v2 in the upward direction. At point 3, it will have velocity v3 in the upward direction. At this point, the velocity is 0. Do we understand this? The red one is the upward journey. Do we understand this, everyone? Do we understand this, everyone? At the lowest point, let us say I have thrown it with an initial velocity u. Tung, 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 it is going up. Do we understand this? Raise hand will give me more confidence. Now, it has taken 4 seconds to go up. How much time will it take to come down? Yes. How much time will it take to come down? It has taken 4 seconds to go up, my dear friends. How much time will it take to come down? Yes. How much time will it take to come down, my dear friends? It has taken 4 seconds to go up. Be fast. It has taken 4 seconds to go up, my dear friends. It will take 4 seconds to come down. Time taken to go up is same as time taken to come down. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do we understand this, that the time taken to come down will be also same as 4 seconds? Now can you tell me, at 4 seconds it was here. What will be the position of this stone at 5 seconds? Where this stone would be at 5 seconds? At 5 seconds, it will be exactly at the same position as it was at 3 seconds. Do we understand this? Do we understand this? At 6 seconds, it will be exactly at the same position it was at 2 seconds. At 7 seconds, it will be exactly at the same position as at 1 second, and 8 seconds, it will come back to the point where it was released. Yes or no? Do we understand this? At 3 seconds and at 5 seconds, it is at the same position. Its speed will be same at both the points, but at 3 seconds, it is going up. At 5 seconds, it is coming down. In one case, velocity is positive. In the other case, velocity with the same magnitude, but it is negative. Do we understand this? At 6 seconds, it will have the same velocity, but in the downward direction, v2. At 7 seconds, it will have the same velocity in the downward set as v1. when it comes down with whatever velocity you had thrown it upwards, it comes down with the same velocity in the downward direction. Do we understand this? So this is one thing that you must remember. Can you remember this? Do we understand this? Yes or no? Can you remember this? What I have shared here? Yes or no? So here all the options are wrong. Here this option should be same, not same velocity, should be same speed. So with whatever speed I had thrown it upwards, it will come down with the same speed, and the option is D. Do we understand this? Do we understand this, bacha? So the answer for this case is D. It will come down with the same speed. We cannot say same velocity because in the first case velocity was upwards. In the second case velocity is downwards. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. Okay. So far so good. So you have understood this. Remember this diagram. Please draw this diagram. And we will end this class with this question. Have you understood this, beta? At different points where the ball is, how much velocity it has, how much speed it has. Okay, that takes us to this question. Last or probably the second last question for today's class. And it comes on your screen now. A body is released from the top of a tower of height h. It takes t seconds to reach ground. It's released from the top of a tower. Where will the ball be at after t.5 seconds? I give you 2 minutes to solve this. Yes, beta, do we have answer for this one? Yes, bacha. Anyone? You can draw a simple diagram. This is point A, this is point B. The ball is released from a height h. It takes 3 seconds to strike ground. We can find out easily. We know the relation between h and t, yes or no? H will be equal to half gt square. Yes or no? No, yes. Do we understand this? Please raise your hands. Okay. Now I have to find out where this ball is after t by 2 seconds. So let me just write this point as C. And we have to find out this x. So I write the equation. How do I write the equation? Remember, with proper sign convention, I have to write the equation. I will write delta R is equal to ut plus half at square. Now u is 0. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Raise hands will give me more confidence. How much is the displacement? The displacement is x in the downward direction. Yes or no? So it will be taken as minus x, or you can use it y because it's in the y direction. Half acceleration is equal to minus g into how much is time? Here we have taken the time as t. So now the time becomes t by 2, half time, yes or no? So I can write it as t by 2 ka squared. Yes or no? This negative will get cancelled and my x will become 1 by 4 into half g t square. Do we understand this, what I have done here? Do we understand what I have done here, bacha? And you can see that half gt square is my h. So my x becomes h by 4. Do not mark your answers in a haste, because as soon as you see h by 4, you will mark away this answer. Yes, this is the answer. Option B. Is it correct? Option B. Is it correct? Option B. Tell me, bacha. Is it correct? Option B. Option B is wrong, because this x is from the top of the tower. From the top of the tower, it is h by 4. Therefore, the correct answer is 3h by 4 from the ground. Do we understand this? A simple mistake, if we do it in a hurry, that simple mistake can end up being very decisive, and we can lose precious marks on that thing. Do we understand this? So this is today's class. In today's class, we have done a lot of questions on motion under gravity. I have sent you a sheet as well. There are many questions in that sheet, and I hope that you can do the rest of the questions from the sheet. You can do it or not, yes or no? The more the number of questions that you do better, the better you are going to be. So I'll end this class here on this note. We are done with motion under gravity. We are done with problems on constant acceleration. We have done a lot of problems on constant acceleration, whether it was along the straight line, horizontal plane, or motion under gravity. The onus is on you to do as many problems as now. Even if you do these many, it would be good enough to tackle any question that comes. In the next class, we'll be dealing with graphs. and I will try to do as many questions as possible there also. We'll try to wind up graphs also by the next class. So I see you in the next class. If you have any doubt, please come up. Else, it is a wrap from my end. Take care and have a nice day, bacha. God bless you all.